Please, just for a few hours. Pretend to be my boyfriend. Emma's voice trembled as she looked at him, her eyes wide with desperation. Sweat formed on her forehead, not from the summer heat, but from fear of disappointing her parents again. The words hung in the air, and Jason, the young mechanic, stared at her in disbelief. He had never imagined anyone, let alone a wealthy millionaire like Emma, would ever ask something so unusual from him. But something in her eyes, a mixture of vulnerability and hope, made him pause. She clutched the straps of her designer handbag, twisting them nervously, and whispered, "They're coming for dinner tonight, and I can't face them alone. Please. Just pretend." It was the kind of request that seemed simple on the surface but carried so much weight. Jason's heart softened, and though he had no idea how this would end, he felt a quiet pull to help her. Before we dive into the story, if you love heartfelt tales that warm your soul, please subscribe to Kindness Tales, hit the like button, and comment below. Share your thoughts and experiences about moments where a little kindness changed everything. It all started on a rainy Thursday afternoon in a small town in Texas. Jason was bent over the engine of a rusty old pickup truck, grease covering his hands and a focused frown on his face. Life had been tough for him, growing up with little money, learning that hard work often didn't bring rewards fast enough. He was used to the hum of engines, the smell of motor oil, and the quiet satisfaction of fixing things with his own hands. Then Emma walked into his shop, dripping wet, a stylish umbrella in her hand that did little to shield her from the rain. She looked out of place in her tailored jacket and high-end shoes, yet there was a softness in her expression, a genuine anxiety that immediately made Jason sit up straight. She explained her predicament in rapid bursts. Her parents were coming to visit, and she had no boyfriend to present, fearing judgment, misunderstanding, or some high society disappointment. Jason blinked. "You want me to, what?" he asked, trying to mask a laugh that wanted to escape. "Pretend to be my boyfriend," she said firmly. "Just for tonight. Please. I'll make it worth your time." Jason hesitated. He wasn't rich. He wasn't suave or sophisticated. He wasn't even sure he could pull it off. But when he looked at Emma, he saw someone in need, someone brave enough to ask for help when pride might have held others back. And in that moment, he knew he could say yes. The evening arrived, and Jason found himself in a crisp shirt Emma had lent him, standing nervously in the opulent living room of her parents' mansion. The walls gleamed with expensive paintings, chandeliers shimmered above, and a soft murmur of polite conversation floated through the air. Emma's parents approached, eyes curious but warm, expecting to meet the perfect companion for their daughter. Jason smiled awkwardly, introducing himself as Emma's boyfriend. Her parents studied him carefully. They weren't unkind people, they were just people who had high expectations, the kind of parents who wanted the best for their child. To Jason's surprise, they liked him almost immediately. There was something authentic in the way he spoke, a humble honesty that couldn't be bought with money or charm. As the night unfolded, Emma relaxed. She laughed more freely, her shoulders loosened, and Jason found himself genuinely enjoying the evening. They shared stories, jokes, and even small arguments about trivial matters, like the best way to make mashed potatoes or whether cowboy boots could ever be truly stylish. Emma's parents watched, amused and intrigued by the dynamic between them. During a quiet moment on the balcony, Emma turned to Jason. "I can't believe I'm saying this," she whispered, "but I feel like I can finally breathe. Thank you, for being kind enough to help me." Jason felt warmth spread through his chest. "It wasn't hard," he replied simply. "Sometimes, kindness doesn't need to be complicated. Sometimes it's just about showing up when someone needs you." By the end of the evening, Emma's parents had grown fond of Jason. They complimented his character, his honesty, and the way he treated their daughter. Emma beamed with gratitude, realizing that kindness could create connections far deeper than wealth or social status ever could. The next day, Emma called Jason to thank him again. She offered him a generous sum, insisting it was for his time and help. But Jason shook his head. "I didn't do it for money," he said. "I did it because you needed someone. That's all." Over the following weeks, their bond grew. What had started as a favor blossomed into friendship and, eventually, love. Emma admired Jason's sincerity, his grounded view of life, and the way he treated people with respect and empathy. Jason admired Emma's courage to be vulnerable, to ask for help even when it was hard. The story of that night spread quietly among their friends, but the lesson remained personal and profound. Emma realized that the richest people in the world aren't those with money, they are those who show kindness and compassion. Jason learned that sometimes, extending a hand without expecting anything in return can change someone's life, and your own. Months later, Emma and Jason would often laugh about that first night. "Pretend to be my boyfriend," she'd tease. And Jason would grin, knowing that what began as an act of kindness had transformed into a lifelong journey of love and mutual respect. In the end, the story isn't about wealth or status, it's about the simple, human acts that connect us. It's about showing up for someone when they need you, even if it feels inconvenient or scary. It's about listening, helping, and caring without expecting anything in return. Kindness, as Jason discovered, has a ripple effect that reaches far beyond the moment. It can inspire trust, friendship, love, and even personal growth. So next time you see someone in need, remember, you don't have to be rich or powerful to make a difference. Sometimes all it takes is a willingness to step into someone's world, even just for a little while, and offer your time, your presence, and your heart. That small act of kindness could change a life forever, and often, it changes yours in ways you never expected. Emma and Jason's story reminds us that kindness is contagious, that love can be born from generosity, and that the courage to help another person, even in unusual ways, can create extraordinary moments. So be brave, be kind, and remember that sometimes, just showing up is the greatest gift you can give. Because in a world that can feel overwhelming and fast-paced, kindness remains the timeless, transformative force that reminds us of our shared humanity.